Hi and welcome to HIP. This is season 2, episode 2. Today I am joined with Matt from Lima Kitchens from Operations, who was on season 1. Welcome.
Thank you. Hello.
And with Richard from KSL in Sudbury. Welcome.
Hiya, you all right?
Yeah, good, thanks. So today I'm really looking forward to delving into outdoor kitchens. I think Matt might take the lead on this over me because I know that he's really keen with outdoor kitchens.
I'd like one.
Yeah, does a lot of outdoor cooking and wants one yourself. And Richard knows a lot about them, having been designing for a while, but also does a number of other things. So if you could tell us a little bit about you and KSL, that would be great.
Yeah, so we're based in Suffolk. 36 years old now. We started as kitchen only and built up bathrooms and bedrooms over the years. And about 5 years ago, we added outdoor kitchens after quite a bit of research. But we design, supply and install all of those areas now. And yeah, good fun. Especially the outdoor is good fun.
Yeah. So taking on outdoor kitchens, and obviously you say it's been in the last few years since people have spent more time at home, basically, and it's felt like the weather's been nice enough to.
Yeah.
What kind of differences have you found when it's come to doing the outdoor stuff rather than the internals?
First of all, definitely budgets and people's maybe perception of it. You've got some people who've only ever had a barbecue, $299, $599, those sort of prices, and then you're going into, full outdoor kitchens. But also the growth of gardens and garden designs. I think English gardens haven't been treated like probably they should in the millions of the homes. There are obviously exceptions, but millions of homes are having to do landscaping, hard and soft, covers, trying to ready for the English weather. So there's a lot more to it than when we come in with an outdoor kitchen. So there's a lot that goes on beforehand, and the design is quite different because you've got garden designers and they work in probably a different way to a lot of the kitchen designers. So trying to work hand in hand with them, but it's a massively growing, evolving market, and it's changed a lot over the last 4 years even.
So have you found that you've needed to build relationships with garden designers, or are you working separately together? Who comes first? Yeah,
I mean, we are selling to sort of our customers. We're selling individual pieces and we're selling people that are just coming in. But our main route is really garden designers, and it is a different field. I mean, a lot of people don't expect necessarily to pay for a kitchen designer or, immediately anyway. And there are a lot of kitchen designers that charge and there's a lot that don't. But garden designers kind of a different kettle of fish, although a lot of them are doing more of the installs themselves or handling the installs now. A lot of the garden designers were design, pay your fee, we'll help you, and then go and get your garden finished. But because they're taking on more and there's more involved now, we're trying to get in with the garden designers to be there early on, because perception on value and trying to get into the budgets early is important, I think, on outdoor.
Do you think in terms of the budget that kind of even the garden designers have a handle on what a garden kitchen costs, or is that something that's relatively new to them as well?
I think it is. There's some that are and some that aren't, and you always get there's certain players in the market that are there and they sell a good quality product, but it's not built to last. But it's at a good budget, and they've kind of hit the budget that people are spending, I guess, at the moment. And the funny thing is, a lot of garden designers say to me, a lot of specs are 100,000, and someone goes, right, I've got 100,000 to spend, and that includes the design, the hard landscaping, the pergola, planting, and then when you get down to the outdoor kitchen at the last bit, they've got maybe 5,000 or 8,000 left, and it maybe doesn't get exactly what they want. And it might be like you get an earlier, younger couple that go and get their first kitchen and maybe get it, at IKEA or get something early, and then they aspire to get a better one. And you kind of, we're getting that a little bit because the budgets are being used on, how much materials are going up and things like that. So everything under the patio is costing a fortune, and then the porcelain or whatever you're putting on top. So that does put a pressure And with outdoor kitchens being so new, people maybe don't get a feel for how much they should cost. And some do and some don't, and some really don't. And but if you spent 50,000 on an indoor kitchen and put that outside, it'll probably last a couple of days before it starts blowing and things, because it's not designed for that. So you then swap all those chipboard veneers, woods with stainless steel, waterproof product, and it obviously rockets. I think stainless steel is something like 6,000 a ton at the moment raw, and you've got to manufacture it, you've got to clean it, you've got to finish it. There's lots of things that go into it, and then that means it will last. And we've kind of set our stall, and we want ours to last. So we're going to go stainless steel, decked on worktops, ceramic worktops, and then with appliances that last. But that does mean the price goes up. So yeah, we're probably hitting a smaller market at the moment.
What's your kind of average outdoor kitchen price?
So ours is probably around the 15 mark. In Europe, they tell me around 30,000 is quite normal, because I guess they're using it a lot more, and probably they're not spending on the inside kitchen as much as they are maybe on the outdoor. But a lot of the higher brands, and like Burnout, who we deal with in Germany, their average sale in Europe is more like 30,000 euros.
And that, it's just to be 100% clear, that's on the kitchen and the appliances only.
Yeah.
So when you get to that potential 95,000 of your initial budget, an extra.
Yeah. And it is what you want. I mean, for us, we sell kitchens, and we've sold kitchens for 36 years. When you sell a kitchen, you don't want someone to come back in 5 years saying it's fallen apart or this is going wrong or that. So we aim for at least 25 years. And what I didn't want to do with outdoor is go, oh yeah, let's take on some brands that fit into people's budgets, but they're not going to last. And my neighbour's a classic. He's got a lovely pool. He's bought this well-known national brand of outdoor kitchen. It's about 3 years old, and it looks rubbish. Because it's rusting.
15 years old.
Yeah, it's rusting, it's warping, it's moving, because it's not stainless steel. It's not brilliant product, but it looks nice in the initial stage. It looks nice on the advertising, and it fits a budget. But he's probably going to get 5-6 years out of it and then go, look, I need to change it. And then he's going to have to spend, he probably spent 7 or 8, and now he probably needs to spend 15 or 16 at least to get it how he wants it. But it's so easy. We've had budget people send in plans, because you can go on the configurators and things. We price it, and it's 58,000. It's easy, and they've gone, I want 4.9 meters, and I want it, and they probably don't, and they're probably not what they need. But when
you start out, you're like, I want it really grand, and, to be a showpiece and different bits and pieces.
And again, there's no rhyme or reason. It's one person's got an Aston Martin on the drive, but they only want to spend $299 on a barbecue, and the next person's got a Ford Fiesta on the drive and want to spend 40,000 on an outdoor kitchen. You can't really grasp it at the moment because it's so new as well. But we're just sticking out that we want quality. We'll go a bit further for outdoor kitchens, so we don't mind sending them nationally, because they're easy to put together. And unlike a kitchen, you generally aren't, like, you haven't got fillers to the wall and very tight. You can do, but it's unlikely. And if someone goes, well, actually, I want it over there, it's quite easy to move as well. And the other thing that we've set out is all of ours are movable. So if you spend 25,000 on an outdoor kitchen and you sell your house, and the next person comes in, you love that outdoor kitchen, they might not see any value or hate outdoor living or cooking. You can take that with you in the removal van like you can any other product of furniture in your house. So that's the other benefit.
Which you can't do with a pergola, though.
Not really. Well, Some of them are put on top, but again, you've still got that drill holes issues. So, and it's probably seen as part of the fixed assets in the house. So it's a lot more difficult. But the kitchen is. One of our suppliers, their pitch was you'd leave it in the wheel, so it's built to last. So
I think what you've just said there about being able to take it away in that different type of living, that is definitely one of the reasons why I wanted Matt here, because I like the idea of, being able to have a pizza stove outside and stuff.
Yeah.
But the reality is I get really frustrated with flies. So outdoor eating in particular isn't something that's high on my list.
Yeah,
I'd much prefer to do it in a cooler kitchen,
Yeah.
and know that that's going to get the use and invest in the appliances there. But for Matt, you do quite a lot of outdoor living. That is something that's important to your family and your social kind of setup.
Absolutely, yeah. I mean, a barbecue is something that seems to happen when you're not sure that it really should, but it's like there's an onus to have a barbecue because it's the summer and the weather's reasonably nice. And to have what is essentially a budget-ish barbecue that we've got at the moment that sort of feeds not enough people really for the ideal scenario, you think, okay, well, what can you do with it? And you start looking at all these fabulous outdoor kitchens and how will it fit in our space and all that kind of thing. But you don't appreciate how much that cost starts to mount up. To get you're going to want a product that lasts.
Yeah.
And so it's interesting, like you say, a lot of people don't appreciate what they need to spend to achieve what I think everybody probably wants. They certainly won't want something that only lasts 5 years. So what other products are available other than stainless steel that are going to last?
I mean, all of our manufacturers makes the main frame out of stainless steel. We don't have anyone that does it in any different. Some use stainless steel for the doors, but the doors are sort of filled, so they're stainless steel outer and powder coated, but then filled in the middle, so they're not solid stainless steel doors. So that makes it obviously a bit cheaper. Some do variant different worktops, but all of our suppliers are kind of with us on quality and longevity. The minimum guarantee we give is 10 years, and that's burnout German, which is unusual for German suppliers. They normally go, well, it will last. Why do I need to guarantee it? Yeah. But they give a 10-year guarantee, and our Italian one gives a 10-year warranty, and our English one gives a 25-year warranty because it is literally steel enamel. And they have to give a 30-year guarantee for the London Underground because they produce all the cladding and signage for the Underground. So that's they can easily give that 25 years. But yeah, so it's burnout doors are a very lightweight sort of honeycomb, but they're fully waterproof, and it's different in Europe as well. Our weather isn't quite what Europe is, so we always need to cover and make sure we've got a bit of heat there and whatever. But in Europe, they send me pictures and it's covered in snow, and they wipe off the snow and cook. And so they need to last. They need to work in that way. So we've probably got a better climate for longevity of product, but it's kind of over-engineered to make sure it lasts in the European weathers and the extremes of the cold and the heat, and things like Decton are great for that.
Yeah, Decton, perfect.
Yeah, and a lot of suppliers are using Decton, whether it's on the doors or on the worktops. Just because of that, it's an easy one that lasts. But I haven't really found too many products that I can say is not stainless steel or it's not this that I can fully get behind. And there's a lot of products out there. There's a lot of people who use mild steel and galvanized steel and things like that, but they are susceptible over time to rust or change. And I just can't put my name to it. So we're probably belt and braces, but we know it will last.
What about waterproof furniture board?
A lot of the Medites and of the world,
potentially.
Yeah.
I've seen one, and that's what they're using. And it obviously gives you a lot of options, and you're essentially making the same technique as making a kitchen, internal kitchen unit.
Yeah.
But it's got this waterproof grade, and you're paying, I don't know, 4 times the price for the materials. But
I've seen it. I've seen all the. I mean, at KBB, I think they had a board set in in water that their thing. Look, it's underwater now and it's fine. I've had quite a few manufacturers I spoke to that have tried it and looked at it and decided not to do it, and some of the reasons they put me off because they're talking about, yes, it might not warp, but there's mold potential, there's this potential, there's that potential. And there was enough out there that I thought, I'm going to stick to the stainless steel. And I mean, I did a Goldman Sachs course. Funny enough, everyone thinks COVID brought us to do outdoor kitchens, but actually I was lucky enough to get on a Goldman Sachs sort of business course where they fund it. You go through a process and they fund so many people a year, and you go on this. It's a really good course. And during my time looking to diversify and see what we needed in our business or what we wanted to do in the business, that's where outdoor kitchens came from. And we hit COVID halfway through that. So it kind of helped quite a bit. It's accelerated a lot of things. It's accelerated a lot of suppliers coming in from Europe, seeing England as a new uncapped market, really. And it's interesting that they're really changing to suit the market. I mean, Burnout have just brought out, it's modular, so you can buy whatever you want. It comes with the worktops attached if you want it to. You can buy the grills and everything. You can build up as much as you want. But ultimately, a lot of people just want a block. So they want 2 meter block with a grill, possibly a fridge, maybe a sink, what it is. And that's what they've developed. So Burnout have just developed block. And instead of having a frame on every unit, it's got one frame, one set of legs that covers that whole 2 meter block. It's still got a deck on top. And you can choose. You start with the middle section and then it goes from there, and you choose what you want in it and choose the colours and finishes. But I think it starts at about 6,500 for the block. Still the same quality, still the same longevity, depending on the grills you choose. And it goes up from there, but it's a much more affordable, a much more simple option. And that's kind of what we're looking for, and what customers I think are finding a more affordable but high quality. And they've seen that in the English market, and they've brought it in, and that only just launched a couple of months ago. But I can see that really coming through, and more suppliers seeing the UK market going, right, let's give them something that's like, it's this. It's got everything they want in it. It's not over the top. You're not going to spend too much on it, but it's high quality, and we can get a decent figure for it. And that seems to be the way, and that's what we're going to be bringing in. We're going to bring a couple of those in and swap out what we've got at the moment.
Moving on a little bit from the product itself, how have you found, or kind of for Matt, how do you find the space in your garden to do this and have it in the right area to not impede? And have you seen any change, Richard, in the way people consider extensions? So we've obviously been in at a time where people have maximised the internal of the house, shrinking up the proportion of the garden. Has there been a change when people come and visit you and how they look to manage that?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen a lot more people, and I don't know if that's from the architects as well, making more use of the outdoor space and knowing that the indoor-outdoor is important now. And even reflecting that in their designs, or getting more, like I've seen a few architects practice have got not a garden designer, but an external architect part of the business, and they've added that into their schemes. And we had someone in recently, and they said they wanted their barbecue on wheels, and we can do the whole thing on wheels, because in the winter they've got like a place outside covered close to the kitchen, because they want to do all the meat and fish still outside, and they'll wheel it down there. And then during the summer, they've got their more expansive patio area where the guests are, and they'll put it to the end where they've got the views and everything, and obviously the longer days. And so people are definitely thinking about it. I mean, all of the last few kitchens we've been talking about have all been on either big renovation, new extensions, or new builds, and they've all had areas planned where the outdoor kitchen's going to go, or where it can go, or multiple options for it to go. There's definitely a thinking change, and there's been a massive change in the 5 years we've been looking at outdoor in worth of the outdoor, and not just going, all right, we'll plonk something in, actually where it's being thought about, for sure. And
what about you? So I've got the luxury of being able to picture your garden, but I'm doing the typical thing when we've spoken about it in the past. of thinking exactly that your outdoor kitchen, if you were to do this, would go where your barbecue is, but that would just completely break up the flow of your garden. I mean, how have you thought about mitigating that?
It's just difficult because, like you say, that is the obvious place to put it because that's where you're used to the barbecue being. But the idea of it being movable, I think, would be really helpful. But the other problem that I kind of garden's kind of a bit of a classics design, and I think you look at a lot of these barbecue setups that you get; they do look very contemporary. So I don't know if there's anything that's more, more complementary to an older style.
Yeah, the Relays normally does. A lot of their imagery is in older houses, and it's a steel enamel, so it's effectively it's a painted finish. But there's lots of different colours and it can be quite subtle, but that really does blend in nicely. They've got a really nice picture of a red brick old house with sort of traditional patio and nice greenery around, and it's kind of a green mottly, and it's fully clad in that, and it just complements that outdoor area really nicely. And I think that's important. Getting, you can put in and like Kashmir is very in on the outdoors. The pergolas and the furniture is coming in, and the kitchens are all coming in, and that does sometimes that suits the traditional because it's a little bit more subtle. But they are heading towards that contemporary look. But Relays does definitely cross the two. Very high quality, flexible, but it definitely can look really contemporary, and it can look really in keeping with that sort of traditional look as well.
I mean, my wife's idea on this is to build it out of bricks.
Yeah.
Which, for me, that's the last thing I'd want to do. I'd want it to do some sort of modular not contemporary, but more technological.
Yeah.
The modern setup that you can create with the different gas hybrid barbecues and pizza ovens.
There's a lot of flexibility now, and it's getting right. It's like we say with an indoor kitchen. Lots of people design a kitchen without actually knowing how they cook, or because if you batch cook, you need a bigger freezer and things like that. Where an outdoor, if you don't eat pizzas, you wouldn't want a gas pizza oven that only does pizzas, because you could do a wood barbecue that you can cook multiple things in because flavour is great in them, and then the odd pizza. So you just have to adapt to the pit, and there's a lot of product now that you can use to adapt to. You've got the eggs that do the charcoal, the low and slow cooking, the smoking, but you've also got things like the pellet grills that it give instant smoke but are easy to use. So for a novice, it's literally plug and play. We love a pizza oven at home. We cook steaks and all sorts in ours, and so it really does need to work for the individual. But there's so much product now that it's yours would be completely different to mine possibly, and
sure,
and that's the beauty. But going back to the brick, it's that was what everyone used to do and slot in the stainless steel pieces. Not everyone likes the look of it. It can be more in keeping, but again, you've invested in that run. You might move in 2 years, and that's not going anywhere. And if you want to adapt your garden, it's not going anywhere. It's a big setup. So the modular is really popular in that way. And I've got one on wheels in mine. I've literally got a wheeled. Mine's more modern garden, but it's sort of a wheeled section. It's got a sort of a slope, so it's got a bar on the back of it if we want to pull that out and use it, and then we've got a pizza oven, and then I've got a pellet grill because I've got small children. They're like, Dad, put the barbecue on. It's like 10-minute heat up and go, where the eggs need a bit more playing with, filling with charcoal, lighting, heating up and tweaking, where the pellet grill is very much set your temperature, you're smoking and go. So it suits us at the moment with a young family, and they love pizzas, so we all get to do that. So, but I can wheel mine out. And the other beauty is the furniture, the quality furniture you put in your garden, again, that's quite easy to move as well because it's very light. You can move it on your own quite easy. So gardens, all the product except for sort of your fixed pergolas and things are very flexible. So, it might be that in the summer, you want your barbecue out and your furniture in the pergola type thing. And it might be more winter that maybe your table and chairs is more covered and your barbecue goes under the pergola and you've got a heater in there. And it definitely is flexible is definitely the word for gardens, I think, adaptable. Yeah.
In terms of planning a garden kitchen, how long do you think people need to allow themselves to do the planning, and when is a good time to start thinking about it? Because obviously most people think about it as quite seasonal.
Yeah.
So ups and downs. Is winter a good time to plan ready for summer, or should they be planning summer for the next summer? Because obviously a shorter amount of time of people installing potentially, or am I completely incorrect?
No. I mean, we thought it was going to be seasonal, and it didn't really come to that. We definitely do a lot of work around. I mean, the shows and the new products around September launch, so they know that's when people are starting to look, and showrooms are getting ready as well for sort of springtime, and so they launch around the September time. I think half of it is if you want a garden done now, or you saying, right, today I'm going to book a gardener in, the landscaper is going to say, I'm booked up for 9 months. So they generally do have to get quite far in, but I'd say at least a year. Some are doing 18 months, 2 years, because they've got that cycle of get a designer they're happy with, get the design done, get the budget done. Am I happy with that? Get all the product source sorted, and then once they're booked in, they're probably waiting 6-9 months, and they don't want to have the garden finished in November, so they're like, oh well, we'll wait for January, February, and we'll start it then. So there's definitely that period, and we've spoken to people over, I think I saw them 3 years ago, and they're kind of ready now to have the kitchen done. So there definitely is a longer cycle, and I think half of it is because of the availability of the labour, because they've just, the amount of projects for landscapers has just gone through the roof. So definitely I'd plan early, get your ideas in, get a designer you're happy with, and get it planned so you can have it when you want, and you can have the full use of it through the summer then.
Do you get pulled into other elements that surround an external garden kitchen? Or do you just draw the line that, no, we'll do the kitchen, you need to deal with the gardener people?
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, it does depend on, if it's a whole, I don't want to get into speccing plants and getting into planting, because it will go wrong, because that's not my expertise. I'd kill a fake plant. But we do other stuff. We have done, we can do furniture, we can do pergolas, and a lot of the new pergola companies are fitting themselves, so we don't even need to fit them. The experts in that go and do that, so we can get into that sort of thing. What we don't want to get too much into is hard and soft landscaping and garden design, because it's not our expertise. So we do work with a few garden designers, and we would push them that way. But if someone came and said, I've already got my patio, my garden done, I want a pergola and a heater and an outdoor kitchen, we would do that. And luckily, some of our suppliers in the indoor do outdoor. We've got Astro Lighting, do outdoor lighting. We've got a couple of companies who do indoor and outdoor sort of bean bags and things we do, and they do like sofas and things. And then we've got another company that do furniture that are quite local to us. So it's quite easy to get without displaying a lot, because people are quite specific about what they want, and they're used to buying them out of books or from small samples. So we try not to get too involved, because it's not our area of expertise, but we do a bit for people.
I'll say, as someone who decided they'll design their own garden, 90% of it I'm happy with, but I wish I'd known a bit more about some other elements, and killed a lot of plants.
Yeah.
And I've definitely built in a pond which has too much sunlight, which two big regrets. I think the only other thing I've been thinking while you've been talking is, as indoor kitchen suppliers, we do demonstrations on our appliances to do the features and benefits. And Brits aren't renowned for kind of barbecuing and things. Do you hold events? Do any of the kind of suppliers for the cooking appliances hold events where people can go and find out what the benefits are and see how they operate and things?
Yeah, I mean, with us, we've got the suppliers do some. Some customers even go to other events where maybe one of our suppliers is putting an event on at a garden centre or somewhere else. They'll go to. It seems to be a lot more sharing in outdoor kitchens, and in indoor you want to keep them to yourself. And things. We do put our own events on, and they're like round our way. There's a guy that does. He specialises in barbecue cooking. He doesn't really sell them, but he'll work for other people, and he does courses at his place. Okay. So he'll do different things. So cooking it won't necessarily be on a specific brand, but it'll be a type of cooking or type of grilling or whatever it is. And there's a lot of that. There's a lot of courses for that. And there's a big appetite actually for people to learn more about cooking. And I've been surprised how many are doing it. I mean, we had our first one the other day that I went to design an indoor kitchen, and they said, we only need a very small oven and not much else. And I was like, do you not do a lot of cooking? And he said he does everything outside. He does all the cooking outside. We just do a bit of warming up in here. So it's that's been my first one, but it's definitely, we're seeing that more and more.
That's interesting. Might have to get on to some of those cooking classes.
Yeah,
see if it can change my mind.
Yeah, I mean, outdoor kitchen, the thing is, and one of the reasons we took it on is being 36 years old, we've done kitchens, bedrooms, bathrooms for a long time. And, there's a lot involved in them. There's a lot of a big process, and you're in the customer's home for a long time. And the outdoor kitchen is a little bit of fun. It's an added, obviously, a benefit we can share with our customers, but it's fun. It's probably a day install for a normal outdoor kitchen, if that. And some of them, it's simple. If someone goes, can you move it a bit? You can move it a bit. If they want to take it with them, they can take it with them. So and then the using it is even fun to mess up. Everyone burns things. They have a beer. They have the family round. You burn your hand. You burn. You overcook a pizza. You have too many beers with your mates. And you come back and the pizza's on fire. All that's just part of it. A bit of fun, a learning curve. And it's surprising how quick a pizza oven, the first time I used it, I've been shown how to do it. I lit it fine. I put it down, and I kept getting it up because I hadn't got my kitchen built at that point. Going inside, making a pizza up, coming back outside, and the temperature had all dropped. And half the battle was where I'd positioned it, the wind was blowing straight into it. So it was kind of dulling it down all the time. And obviously you need a high temperature for pizza. And then I was building it up, getting the flames roaring, then going inside, faffing around, making the pizza, coming back out, bringing it out, and it already sort of dropped in temperature. So that was my learning curve. Second one I did, the pizza was turned 90 degrees, the oven was turned 90 degrees. I had the stuff outside there with me, and bang, you're doing it, and it was a doddle, and straight away you learn, the technique of turning a pizza and things like that. It takes a little bit longer to learn, but you can't really get it wrong. And it's fun,
That's another benefit to having it on wheels and movable, because you never know what way the wind's.
That is as well. Yeah. I mean, we're quite secluded at one side, but the wind can come in from one way. And typically, because we were sort of doing it, like you eat on your knees when you first move into a house and on the sofa, it was kind of like that outside. And so I just plonked it down, didn't even think about it, started going. But it was a good learning curve for me. So won't make that mistake again. Yeah. But yeah, it's the fun of that as well, where indoors, let's cook a roast dinner. I've got an £80 piece of meat, and it, it's hours, and you spend a lot of time, and you're in the kitchen and that, and a mistake is a big mistake. But it seems outdoors is
forgivable.
Forgivable, and fun with it. So I haven't seen many people that get into sort of cooking on the grill, playing with outdoor, and then going, nah, it's not for me. I don't know, something about being outdoors, cooking, being with people. It's much more friendly, I guess, in a way. And it's a different type of cooking sometimes. It's more grazing than producing a meal and someone's sweating in the kitchen and then producing a meal for all the people that are having fun at the party. It's much more interactive. Someone will take over the tongs while you nip off and things like that. And then you maybe have something ready and everyone has a bit of a nibble, and then you have something else and you cook a pizza. It does seem a lot more social and interactive and just being outside as well. It's and the cleanliness, you're not stressing about things dropping on the floor, and it just seems, I enjoy it a lot, and it seems a lot more fun for selling and for using, I think.
Is there any move to electric in the world of outdoor kitchens?
The Traeger grills are electric and they're pellet fed. So you just plug them in. Well, you can do a battery pack or plug them into 13 amp. There's not a massive amount. Obviously, apart from your lighting, your heating, you can do all electric, and your louvers and things like that, and a bit of solar on those. And there's not a massive amount of electric grills and things. And I think that's partly, one, because of your flavour. People I know you can add things into those different grills. There are people that only like cooking with charcoal, and some that only like cooking with wood and things like that. So, and then I think the electric sometimes, because you put wood chips or pellets on to add flavour and smoke and things like that, sometimes the electric aren't necessarily made for that sort of thing. So gas side burners are quite popular because you can boil your potatoes and you don't have to be inside, and you can cook, a sauce or finish something in them, and they're quite popular. But we haven't had a massive call for electric. I haven't seen a massive amount of electric product, but I guess it will, especially with induction and things. There's those sort of products out there still for outdoors, but I haven't seen a lot.
Okay. Maybe the future. I don't know.
Yeah.
Fab. Is there anything else you think people should be considering if they're thinking about an outdoor kitchen, or any final questions from someone who has been considering one?
I think I've covered the things I was thinking of. But.
Yeah, good learning for you.
Yeah, I think just budget really is, think about what you want. Is it something you want to last, take with you, good quality, easy to clean, all of that side of it. The more money you spend, it does tend to get you obviously a better product, a better usable, easier product. Probably our most expensive grill's got such amazing pull-out drawer and racks, and so easy to keep clean. It's a benefit. It's so easy to use, and it lasts, and it's so easy to clean the grid bits, and then it's just going to last. And I wouldn't want to put something in that's going to last 5 years, but then it's a budget thing. So what do you want from it? And be clear on, do you need a sink? Do you, when you're thinking, do I need a fridge out there? Because that affects budget and services. And get all that done at the start. How do I use the space? How far of it is away from the house? Because some people are down the end of the garden where the sun is, and so they really want a fridge down there, but then they need electric and maybe water and things. So get your planning early, really think about what you want from the space, speak to some experts, and then plan, and then execute well.
I think on the cleaning thing, that also means how much enjoyment you're going to get from it, and potentially the value and how much you're going to use it. The easier it is to maintain and clean, the less likely you're going to think, but it's going to take me longer to clean up, because this is what I think. So there's definitely an added value there.
That's why I love pizza ovens, because they're like 500 degrees. They burn everything off. You wipe the front a bit, but that's about it. Everything that goes in there just is disintegrated. So it's like having a self-cleaning oven in your inside. It's great. So I love using that, because it's literally, you use it.
It's basically like a pyro oven.
Yeah,
as long as you don't pyro your pizza.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, but it's even a grill. You still got to clean that grill top and things like that. Where the pizza oven, it's just self-cleaning, so you can use that quite regularly and quite easy. But yeah, if it's difficult to clean and things, we're always saying we use it and then go, can't be bothered to clean it this time. I'll do something else, or we'll get a takeaway. Yeah, so it is definitely important.
Thanks. And there'll be links to Richard and the outdoor kitchens should you want to get in touch. As he's already mentioned, services nationally, so don't feel you can't get in touch. The wealth of experience and knowledge, as you've already heard. Thanks.